Hey, what's up? My name is Alan Hernandez. I'm from Bakersfield, California, and I tore my ACL and PCL. So it was July 7th, 2014. I just went for another skate trip like I usually do. I believe it was me, Abraham. I went with a couple other friends, Filmer. We went to Fresno, I'm from Bakersfield, so it's like 2 hours up north. And we went, I believe it was the second spot of the day. We went to these perfect ledges first, and we got kicked out within like 10 minutes. They were perfect too. I really want to skate them. And then we went to this gap. It was like a gap in the middle of nowhere. It was like I think like a 3-block, kind of like a 3-block in the middle of nowhere. And it wasn't that big. I want to say maybe it was like a 10 stair. But anyway, we went. I started trying a nollie front heel, and I think I was like maybe 10 tries in. At first I was just popping it to get the feel for it like I usually do. I usually just do a couple nollies, and I do a couple nollies just to feel like the nollie pop, and then I'll start going for the trick. And I started going for it. I caught it a couple times, felt good, and then I was gonna go for it, and for some reason I kicked out, and I landed with my body angled pretty weird, to where my shoulders were just leaning all in on my left knee, and my knee landed straight. So like my knee buckled, and it just landed completely straight. It didn't bend like it was supposed to, and I just landed all my weight on my knee. My knee bent the wrong way. It didn't make a pop, so I mean, at the moment I watched the footage and it looked pretty crazy, but it didn't pop backwards. Nobody heard a pop. All the dudes that were there were pretty concerned, but everybody thought I was fine. I thought I was fine. It hurt, like the kind of hurt where you're like, oh, I'm probably not gonna skate for a couple weeks. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna chill out. People kept skating the gap. We were there maybe for like, if I can remember correctly, like another 30 minutes, and I was just chilling on my board, just rubbing it, trying to make sure it was okay, but I could still bend it at that point. I was gonna try it again, but I was like, it's probably a bad idea, so I didn't. And I was just sitting there. We left. I went home. It started hurting really bad on the way back. I want to say we stopped to eat somewhere, and it was like at that point my body had cooled down, so it was really hard to get out of the car. I tried to get out of the car, and it was buckling like bad, to where I was like, okay, there's something seriously wrong here. So I think I grabbed my board, and I kind of like just dragged myself on my board like to the eating spot, and we ate whatever. It was hurting really bad on the way home. It was like a 2-hour drive, so it was hurting really bad. I got home. I had my girlfriend like ice it and like rub it and whatnot. She tried to help me out, and it felt a little bit better that night. But then until maybe like in the middle of the night, I was sleeping, and I remember it woke me up, and it was like the worst pain of my life. Like it just kept waking me up. I made it until maybe like the sun came out, because I couldn't sleep. So I remember the sun coming out, and I just said, I need to go to the doctor. Like this is just bad. So in the morning, my girlfriend took the day off from work. I think it was I want to say it was a Monday. I could be wrong, but I remember she had to work, and she took the day off to take me to the hospital. And I didn't have insurance at the time, so I went to the hospital. It was kind of a ghetto hospital. So like I got there, I couldn't walk at all. Like I remember it hurt really bad to get in the car. Like it was just getting worse and worse by the minute. I got into the hospital. They didn't have a wheelchair for me. I remember I had to kind of like limp there, because they didn't have a wheelchair for me. So I go in there. I'm probably in there for like 8 hours before I got seen by anybody, and the pain just kept getting worse. I remember they just went out there and gave me some they gave me some ibuprofen, but they just went over to the waiting area. They didn't even like accept me in or anything, and they just gave me they kept giving me ibuprofen, and I'm like, this is not helping at all. This is getting bad. So finally they saw me. The doctor I saw was actually, I don't think he knew what he was talking about, because he told me and I didn't have insurance at the time, so I couldn't go to like a real specialist or anything. The guy, it was an emergency room. The guy just told me like, hey, we're gonna do an x-ray. You're probably fine. They do an x-ray. The guy comes back. It's like the same night. It's nighttime at this point. The guy comes back and says, you know what, you're gonna be out for, I think he said 4 to 8 weeks, like the typical when you roll your ankle and then they say like, oh, 4 to 8 weeks, you'll be fine, you'll be skating again. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But before I left, I asked him like, can I get an MRI? Because I've heard that you usually need MRIs when it's like ligament related. And he said no. Now that I look back at it, he probably said no because the insurance costs. I didn't have insurance. It's probably just a bad idea for him. So anyway, I just went with the x-ray. Said 4 to 8 weeks. I go home. Before I got out of there, they got a nurse in there and they bandaged it. It was a pretty ghetto job. They didn't really go too into it with me. They wanted me out of there, I could tell. So whatever, I just said, I'm gonna deal with this 4 to 8 weeks. I'm gonna go home and watch some skate videos. I went home. I remember it wasn't getting better. The severe pain went away, but it wasn't getting better. But the guy did say 4 to 8 weeks. So I just sat around like any other skateboarder would do, and like when you have anything else wrong with you, and you just kind of just watch skate videos until you can skate again. So I remember I want to say I waited like the 8 weeks because it felt swollen. I felt like there was water in there or something. It felt swollen, but I didn't have insurance at the time. And I waited probably like 8 weeks and tried to skate again, try to get back into it. It was impossible. Like I wasn't even close to skating. Like I got out there and like I couldn't even bend my knee. Like I was still limping walking, so it was pretty bad. So I said, obviously this doctor's wrong. There's no way, he knew what he was talking about because I couldn't even walk normal. So what I ended up doing, I called my mom's friend, is actually a nurse, and at that point I had just moved to Long Beach, and there was this place she told me about where the nurse, she told me there's this place where people without insurance go and they'll do like extensive research on whatever's wrong with you. So I was like, okay. So I remember going in the morning, one of those mornings, and waiting in like this super long line. I was waiting for like 4 hours to get into this place for them to see me, to tell me like, okay, this is what's wrong with you. You're gonna need to go to this specialist or whatever. Remember I got in there, they did another x-ray and they said, you know what? After a couple weeks went by, I still couldn't skate, and I remember I got the results back, and they just told me, you know what, you're gonna need an MRI. X-ray's not good. It looks like there's water in there, but we don't know because x-rays that's not what x-rays are for. So I'm like, I know that, like we should have done this like 8 weeks ago or whatever. And so pretty much I got nothing done in what, 2 to 3 months. So finally, my girlfriend, luckily she works at like an insurance place, so she was working on getting me insurance the whole time. She finally got me insurance. At this point, maybe it was like another 2 weeks after that, so we're like 3.5 months deep into this, and I'm just stressing out, just sitting on the couch, just dying. And I eventually she got me the insurance. I went and finally got an MRI. I got an MRI. I remember it was here in Bakersfield. I got an MRI, and then I remember I had to wait like another week. I waited another week, and they told me finally, after months and months of waiting, I finally found out what was wrong, which is that I tore. So apparently there's like two main ligaments in your knee, and there's ligament that crosses over in this direction, or it might be that direction, and there's another one that crosses over like that behind your knee. So I tore both of them. They said it was a 3rd-degree tear. I'm not sure what that means, but the guy said that they were both just hanging on, just barely hanging on. So like he kind of used an example like a shoelace, like when you're skating, you tear up your shoelace and it's just hanging on by that last thread. Apparently that's what happened to both of them, both ligaments. I think it's the ACL and PCL, I believe they're called. It's been a while now, but I think that's what they're called. And anyway, so the doctor, he said, he told me to go home. He told me to get my girlfriend to ice it. He gave me, since I had insurance at that point, he gave me some like medication, and then he told me to go get so the doctor told me, he gave me a bunch of medication, and he told me to take some stuff, and told me to go to physical therapy. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm waiting for. Physical therapy, I've heard works, and it's right up my alley. I'm I'm real active. I like to take matters in my own hands, and when he told me it was possible for me to get it back, I said, you know what, go to physical therapy and work my ass off. So I went. He did tell me that he said it most likely will never be the same. He said you might be able to skate again. I don't know, but go to physical therapy. I believe it was like 6 weeks to 8 weeks of physical therapy that he gave me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to work my ass off, and hopefully by the end of physical therapy, I'm skating again. So he told me to do that. He said after physical therapy, come back and see me. He was a specialist. So like he was a sports doctor is what he called himself. So I thought I knew, you know, what he was talking about. So anyway, I went to physical therapy. I went for weeks and weeks, and it felt like it was getting better. The dude I was seeing there was actually really cool. They showed me a bunch of exercises that to this day I still use. Very helpful people, and it was cool because I finally had some hope, because it sucks sometimes. Like you feel like, you know, you're just sitting on the couch, your knee's not improving, nothing's improving, you can't do anything, and you can't do anything about it, which is the worst. You know, if you're a person that's active like myself, I like to take matters in my own hands, and I just couldn't. I just had to sit there. Like the orders from the doctor were just sit there. So that's the worst. So, you know, I had people finally tell me like, okay, it's really gonna most likely come down to how hard you work, and I was like, cool, like I could do that. Like that's what I like to hear. So I went to physical therapy. I worked my ass off. I got a little machine thing that like shock therapy, and you put some pads on your knee or wherever it is that you're hurting, and it puts a magnetic current through, and it helps with pain. It helps with inflammation. With a bunch of other stuff. If you guys want to check it out, it's just Google shock therapy, and there's a bunch of machines for that. It's actually really helpful. It's helped me out even after that with like random little injuries here and there. But anyway, so after that, I went back to see the doctor. He told me to go back, so I did. I did feel better. I was able to like do squats by then. I was doing squats. I was just doing regular exercises on the bike. Bike helps a lot. It helped me out a lot to get my knee back. By that point, I was walking normal. I remember trying to do a couple ollies a couple times just because I couldn't resist. I would just try to pop my board here and there. I still felt like a little like pinching feeling, and there was still a little bit of fluid in there. The physical therapist was telling me that over time the fluid would just get out of there, and it seemed to be doing that, but it was just taking a long time. So eventually what I did was I kept doing it on my own time. So I ran out of, my insurance ran out of the physical therapy. You know, they give you a little note and they tell you how long to go for, and after that it's on you. So I kept doing the workouts afterwards, and I set an appointment with the doctor again, with the specialist. So after that I went back to the doctor, talked to the specialist again, and he told me like, how are you feeling? That's really your body will tell you. Your body will tell you if you're ready or not. I told him, you know what, I feel way better. It's helped out a lot, but I'm not ready. It's not feeling like it's supposed to for skateboarding. So he told me, we had a pretty crazy conversation where he brought up surgery, and he said, well, you know what, when it gets to this point is you could either continue to work out on your own, you continue to do the therapy on your own, and just go to the gym, get a gym membership, and just do your thing and work out, and hopefully in the near future you can skate and just work your way into it, or you can get surgery. That was a little crazy to hear because I've never really got surgery before. I'm kind of like against like the whole hospital scene. It's scary. I'm terrified. Like, not even joking, I'm just terrified. So I was just like, I can't. And then he said that they would take, so how the surgery goes is, apparently how he explained it to me was, they get a cadaver and they take the ligaments from the cadaver and they pretty much screw them into your knee. So I don't want to get haunted, first of all. and that just sounded gnarly. And he did say it would be another, I think, a month to 2 months of recovery after the surgery. And the worst part is it could not work. So it was like, okay, pretty much I was in a tough spot where it was like a rock and a hard place, and it was just a decision of mine. Pretty much, do I leave it up to the doctor to maybe do a good job, or maybe it works out, whatever, if my body refuses it, or just whatever, or do I just leave it up to me and I keep doing what's been working and just just put it in my own hands and say, you know what, I'm just gonna keep working my ass off and hope it works. And if not, then I guess I'm just a gym rat now. So, so I said, you know what, let me think about it. But I mean, on the way home, I had already made my decision. I was just gonna keep working out. And yeah, the doctor said that was an option too. So I went with that. I didn't go back to see him. I got his personal number. He's real cool with my girlfriend's mom, like, I don't know, some relation thing. So I was able to get his phone number, and we texted back and forth a couple times, and he just asked me how I was doing, and it felt like it was getting better. The fluid had completely come out of my knee by then, maybe a couple weeks after that. I was just going to the gym every day. I think I would take a day off and just stretch. I think it was like one day out of the week I would just stretch. I started eating healthy. I just said, you know what, like, my body's done all this for me. I just got to give it something back. Like, it's got my back. I got to have its back too. So it's my turn, you know. So I started eating healthy. I started making all the right decisions. There's plenty of information out there if you're really interested in learning. So I gathered up all the information I could. I mean, there's nothing else I could do anyway at the time. So I was just working my ass off, like 6-7 days a week, just a lot of stretching, like extensive amounts of stretching, and it seemed to get better over time. The crappy part, the worst part, was there was so much delay with the no insurance thing and the people who didn't know what they were talking about, that this turned into an 8-month thing. So I want to say by 8 months, I finally said, like, okay, you know, I can skate. And I started skating again. I was just, you know, doing ollies, relearning how to skate. I mean, first of all, like, even when I'm full into skating, if I don't skate for a week, it takes me like a day to get my tricks back. So it was like fully relearning how to skate, like just doing ollies, because I was having like rocket ollies. So I was just doing ollies and trying to kick flip, and it sucked at the time too, because when I was living in Long Beach, I got a couple flow sponsors. So you know, I lost all that. There's nothing. It was a long time. Just financially, everything changed for me. I had to move back to Bakersfield. It was just a crazy situation entirely. So eventually, I just said, you know, I'm just gonna get my life back. So yeah, I started skating. I took it real slow, flat ground. I kept my workout routine. So I would just go to the gym. I would ride the bike. I don't have a bike, so I never really rode like around town or anything, but I hear that helps too. It's the same thing, but I would just go to the gym and just get on the bike for miles and miles and miles, and it's really good. Running's really bad because it's impact. So there's impact when you run, and most people don't know how to run, including myself. So if you don't run correctly, there's even more impact, which is really bad for your knees and your ankles to begin with. So if you have an injury, you know, you're just making it worse. So a bike's perfect. It's no impact. So you know, you just work out your muscles around your knee. I talked to the doctor again after that. It seemed I was getting way better. I was actually skating again, and like it seemed like I was doing well. And I talked to the doctor, and he was like, yeah, if you strengthen your muscles around your knee enough, they'll do the work for the ligaments. So, I mean, I don't know. It's been a couple years now. I don't know what ended up happening, but I will tell you, I never stopped working out, because I was told the muscles around my ligaments are what's keeping me skateboarding. So if those muscles weaken, it will happen again. I'll either re-injure it, or I don't know, they'll just get weak, and my skating will get worse. So, you know, it's something I just got to live with now. So I just told myself, you know what, this is my life now. Like, now I'm just a gym rat and I skate. So now I work hard at it. You continue to work hard. I've had times where I take a couple weeks off from the gym for whatever reason. I'm too busy or whatever, and I could feel it. It does start, like, it starts hurting again, or it starts getting sore or whatever. So I try to make it a thing within the last year. Just say, you know what, from now on, like, this is my life. Like, I go to the gym as much as I can. If I can't go to the gym for whatever reason, I'll just get on the bike. I mean, I suggest getting like a bike for your house, so you can like watch TV or watch skate videos while you're just going at it. You know, it's like, it's good, moral support. And just get on there and just go. Strengthen your muscles. They do a lot of work for the ligaments, and yeah, just work hard. It's really, I mean, I've met a couple people that have had very similar injuries, and it's really like, it's a real night and day between the people that, not even the surgeries, but just between the people that tried hard and the people that didn't. And you know, there is a way to get it better, and you'll most likely be fine if you work hard. It's kind of, just think of it as a test, you know, like how much do you love this? Like, do you really want to skate? Then, you know, work your ass off, and it works. It's cool. And I mean, as of now, it's been going really well. I got a couple of sponsors, and after that, I actually, just pretty cool. It was like a huge thing of mine. Before I got injured, I tried to skate this pretty big gap, Compton. I think it's a middle school, right, Mosley? Middle school, yeah, Compton Middle School, and I was trying to skate that. I think I couldn't. I was trying to trick on that, and I couldn't get it. And then I remember I got injured maybe like a month after that, and I remember it was one of those tricks where I was like, I have to land this. Like, it was gonna be the last trick for my part, whatever. I have to do this. So it was like the whole time I was off, like 8 months. It was almost, I want to say it was almost 9 months that I was off completely until I was like fully skating again. The whole time I'm just thinking of that trick, you know, like, damn, it got away from me. I gotta get that, you know. And I like stuff like that to keep me going. Like, I'll usually pick something out like, oh, you know what, this got me, like this spot got me. It can't get me. I have to like work for it, and like I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get that. And I sleep better at night like that. So you know, so I just kept working at it. I kept thinking about that trick. I just get on that bike, watch skate videos, listen to music, and just like grind. And eventually I did go back and I got my trick. So that was like a huge turning point for me, where I said, you know what, this was like pretty big stair set, got my trick, I'm me again, you know, and better. So after that, there's no turning back, and this is just who I am now. So worked out. I guess it worked out for the best. And you know what, at the end of the day, I ended up appreciating skateboarding more, which I don't think I ever appreciated it before. I'd never really gotten hurt to that extent before. It was always, you know, maybe a couple weeks, rolled ankle, whatever, but it was taken for granted for sure. And after this, I mean, never again.